Hello everybody, I am here again to share with you some positive and good steps that's going to help you in your periscoping and your scoping, and I wanted to share with you some really cool thoughts. I'm going to start right in because I've got company coming at 4:30 my normal time to do my scoping, and I want to make sure nobody misses out on the entire content. So I'm going to actually switch myself to this screen because I have already written out my list of what I'm going to share today. You may not see it, but I have it for my benefit mainly, and I'm going to read this off and then I'm going to hit each point with more detail so that you understand what I'm really getting at. Number 1, you get 1 heart for joining. Number 2, hearts equal value. Number 3, don't beg for hearts. Number 4, remember no one is looking for a pitch. Number 5, give hearts to leaders. Number 6, support others. Number 7, consistently do high value. Number 8, thank your audience for giving hearts and also the replay viewers. Number 9, hearts feel good. Number 10, hearts validate you. And 11, it ranks you in the playbacks. Number 12, Periscope has a 500 limit for both live and replays. Number 13, do it for the right reasons. And number 14, by going in and out and hearting, it keeps you at the top of the list. And the bonus, and as for me, 15, I notice and connect with people that do that. So, hello you here. I'm going to keep this on. I know that we have a new update that lets us use this as a horizontal, but actually I think that I come up a little bit stronger by staying in the vertical, so I'm going to, and that's if that's all right with all of you. So I'm going to hit those points again with detail and give you a little more idea. When you start your first account with Periscope, you get 1 heart. Obviously, as soon as you start doing scoping, even if you're not great at it, it doesn't matter, get started. You're going to get some hearts, because one thing I actually know is that this is a very, very supportive group of people that are involved in this social media. And almost all the time, no matter how messed up I am, and even on my very first one where I couldn't even turn my camera, I got hearts. So it didn't stay at 1 very long because I made the decision immediately to start taking action. Number 2, hearts equal value. Now think about that. What is value? It's usually that you say something or do something that helps other people, and it's not necessarily for your own benefit, although it can be in the future. So value is, do you answer a question? Do you teach something? Do you educate something? Do you help them in some way that helps them know something better? Now, I said number 4 is, remember no one is looking for a pitch. A blatant pitch, whether it's on a scope, whether it's on a video, or whether it's in a message in Facebook, it's never welcome, because a pitch is when somebody just goes out and says, this is my business, here's my link. You've got to have a relationship first, and then it's not a pitch. So when we look at the book that Gary Vaynerchuk wrote, and that is Jab, 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 Right Hook. If you've had that book, or if you ever have heard of it, I recommend you get it, because even though he doesn't talk about Periscope in that book, he talks about general rules of how you want to behave in social media. And one thing is to give value. Jab is value. So value, 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 and I would say go beyond 4. Value, 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 maybe even up to 10 if you're new, and then maybe once in a while say, by the way, this is what I do. And when you do it that way, most of the time people are not going to be uncomfortable. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold. Absolutely, Mike, you're so right. And so it's so important for us to realize that you're not looking to sell people. You're looking to bring value and bring them to you so that it comes to a time when they say they're ready to buy because they see what you have. Most of the time they already know what you have. They've looked you over. And so if they're ready to buy, if you've brought value, they're going to buy. So number 5, give hearts to leaders. Have you ever thought about this? People that are already in scope and already have a following. I of course, but there are many others in the industry, such as Ray Higdon, for instance. He does regular scopes here on the scope. Go over to his, and for no other reason than just that you like his content, go into one of his replays and give him 500 hearts. You will be recognized eventually if you make that a practice. So choose somebody that is actually in your niche that you admire anyway, and generous. Be generous with the hearts with your leaders. Support others. Now that's not necessarily leaders, but others that are involved in business similar to yours. They don't have to be in your own personal business. In fact, if you support people that are not necessarily in your personal business, there's a good chance that they'll do that back. And then you start having a little bit of reciprocation going on, which is kind of nice to have that happen. So do share this, because I am giving some good stuff that you would probably want your own team to know about. So number 7 is consistently do high value content. In other words, like today, I'm not talking to you about my business. I'm talking to you about things you can do to make your periscopes better. So high value, meaning you're going to give away a lot of good stuff before you're going to ask for a sale. Number 8, thank your audience for giving hearts. And thank you, Mike. I know you're the one mainly doing that with the purple hearts today, and I very, very much appreciate it. And I also appreciate all the replay hearts that I know I will receive because of the fact that I'm connected with a lot of people that actually do that. So it's kind of cool. And absolutely share this with your friends, because I will continue to give you amazing content. I try to do that. And we're on number 8. Number 9, hearts feel good. Now, when you get hearts, even, brand new, first scope, whatever, you got to be at some point a new person that's just barely started this. And even though I've done video before, I was new to Periscope just a few months ago. And so when people were supporting and helping and making me feel good, even when I was new and even when I didn't do it right, it did feel good. And we can do that for others as well, because we know how it feels, right? It feels good to do it. And then there's that rule that kind of goes along with this of, if you give, you will receive. A lot of the time we want people to give to us, but we don't necessarily want to give to others. But the hard part is that the general rule is actually that the more you give, the more you're going to receive, because you don't really dry up your own receptacle by giving. You actually gain more by giving, and so it's so important that you do that for others as well. So then we're going to go back to hearts feel good is number 9. Number 10, hearts validate you. Now, if somebody loves your content, then they're more likely to give you hearts. So make sure that you've gone to the trouble, for instance, to actually write out a plan of what you're going to say, so that it's not going to be you flubbing around. And I see a lot of people kind of getting a little bit, they're not completely prepared when they start in, and as soon as you hit that red button, you're live. So it's a really good idea to actually, sometimes you will fumble a little. That's okay, to be human. I'm just saying, if you can, make as much as you can to get yourself ready so that it's a little smoother and you're going to feel better about it too. Like, for instance, I wrote out that little list ahead of time on purpose so that I would know exactly what I was going to talk about, so that there wouldn't be too much confusion. Obviously, the more you can be on task and on point, it's going to help your viewers get a better feel for what it is you're trying to teach or explain or help them with. And then number 11, the periscope itself kind of ranks us by those hearts. And the higher you can get with your hearts, of course that comes over time. But the higher you go over with the hearts, I've already passed 150, going towards 200,000 hearts now. And as you go a little bit farther up the chain, I think it starts to show your content more. And it's going to be more and more that way. Obviously, you also want to have good attendance, and I tend to have a higher attendance with replay, which is kind of interesting because that's just the way it seems to work. And then number 12, Periscope has a 500 heart limit, which means when you hit 500, it stops counting. But if you go out and then back in, especially with somebody that you really feel like you're getting a lot from them, go back out, get back in. This is just for live, because when you do it for replay, you have to start over with the replay. It doesn't let you get in the middle wherever it was that you left off, but you can do that with a live broadcast. And then you can do another 500 hearts. You could do that as many times as you want. Depends on how much value you actually are getting. Obviously, don't do it just to be fake, because then they're going to obviously know that. Number 13, do it for the right reasons. Again, don't do it just because you're trying to get somebody to pay attention to you, but because you honestly thought that that was of value enough to give them the hearts. Hey, your purple hearts match my shirt. That's pretty cool. And number 14, by going in and out and hearting, it keeps you at the top of the list. Have you ever noticed this? If you swipe to the right or if you swipe up for Android, you can actually see who's on the top of the list. And as the list grows down, that some of the people disappear because it only leaves a certain amount of people on that list. And so one of the things that's pretty cool is that if you go out and then back in, it puts you at the top again, especially if you're giving hearts for a while. It also shows the other followers you as somebody of interest because you're doing that, and it probably will give you some followers because of that, which is kind of cool. So if I have a whole big group of people in here and you're at the top of the list, like Mike's doing, giving me lots and lots of purple hearts, then he's probably at the top of the list and people can follow him as well. As a matter of fact, follow Michael because he's new at Periscope, but he's got a lot of value to share. And number 15, I notice and I connect with people that actually heart me, because that is, I showed you yesterday how to actually go over to Twitter and follow up with people that have actually been on your broadcast. But I especially try to do that with anybody that gives hearts. And it really makes me feel good, and it makes the other people good. So let's recap that list, because I gave you a really good list, and I think it's going to be helpful. Hearts do matter, and they matter to both the person giving and the person receiving. So you get one heart when you first join, when you just create the account, whether you've done any broadcasts or not. And I have noticed that there's a few that have 2 and 7 and 5. That means they probably have done at least one broadcast. So, and then number 2, hearts equal value. In other words, people are going to be honest with you for the most part. If you're giving good value and you're trying to help them understand something that's important to them, then you're going to give them more hearts. And don't beg for hearts. I said that before, but I didn't really get into a whole lot of detail with that. But I see a lot of people saying, please give me hearts, please give me hearts. And I think I did that at the very beginning, but it doesn't sound very good. It doesn't sound like a leader talking to say, give me hearts. You know, even if you have a contest going, I actually don't think I want to do that, because I think hearts has to be an honest thing that you do because you feel comfortable that you've been given, that they're giving you the value that you have come to be on. And Mike and a couple of others have stayed on here for quite a while. Yes, it's a learning process, absolutely. And Periscope is growing and changing all the time, just like as any social media is going to. There's new people by the thousands joining it every single week. So it gives you a very special opportunity to connect with a lot of people that you probably didn't know before this. So don't beg for the hearts, but thank them if they've done it. And we've got at least 3 people that I know of. I have to check. Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3 people that are really hearting it up, and I do absolutely appreciate that. Thanks very much for that. And thanks for all of the people in our replay as well. And then remember, no one likes a pitch. And let me explain what a pitch really is. A pitch is when you are telling them about your business before they have actually asked for it. In other words, I often see this over on Facebook, not so much here, but I do know that there are people kind of trying to do it and seeing if it will work. But you might notice that the majority of the people that are really starting to do well here in this particular social media in Periscope, they're trying to bring some sort of value. I see demos. Those are great. I see kind of lifestyle, lots of that, lifestyle periscopes. I see people teaching a particular thing that they're good at. Those kind of things are awesome. And you can obviously tell them what you do at the end of your scope. But you don't have to, make it a pitch. And then you want to give it to leaders. People that you really respect in the industry, that you're connected with, or even that are not necessarily in your company. Go over there and give them 500 hearts because they're giving you a lot. And then support others. New people that you know are just getting started, you can go and help them out, make them feel good, and they'll probably do it for you as well. And don't be upset if they don't, because they probably don't know that they can do that. And hearts are free. I understand in some social medias that they limit how many hearts you can do, but there is really no limit in Periscope. They do have the 500 cutoff, but it is possible to add on to that and make it as high as you want by coming in and going back out and coming back. And then number 7, consistently give high value. I really try to look at what are the things people really want to know about. And by 6 people staying in here pretty consistently for the whole time, you really do want to know what hearts are all about and why we have them and why they're important. And I tried to share as many of my own ideas and what I've learned about it. And I think that there's probably quite a bit more, but we're going to be learning as we go on what Periscope really is going to do with them. And then we're connected with Twitter, so there's probably going to be a correlation with how that helps you search people later as well. And then hearts make you feel good and they validate you. And it probably is going to have something to do with the ranking. At least that's what I'm seeing, is that the ones that get featured have a lot of hearts, and they have quite a bit of people in their follow, especially in the playbacks, and that's what gets them featured. And so I haven't seen anybody in the network marketing or internet marketing space get that yet, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen. So on number 12, Periscopes has a $500 heart limit. We've gone over that a couple of times, so we don't need to do that again. And let's do it for the right reason. Just like when we pitch, we're not looking at doing it just because we want someone to do it back, but because we truly want to show them that we value that person, and we want to show them that we support that person. And that is the right reasons. And then number 15, I notice and I do connect with people that do that. And I'm already connected to Michael. I don't know if I'm connected to everybody that's on this one today, but I usually go out to Twitter and try to find you and connect there. So if your username is different on this on Periscope than it is on Twitter, in the comments section, please do tell me what your username is over on Twitter so I can connect with you there, because I won't know if it's different and I might not be able to find you if I don't know that. So before we close out, is there any questions that you have in regard to what we're doing in Periscope or anything to do with Periscope? Because I am actually trying to teach that as well as making it part of my own personal marketing every single day. Just to give you a recap of who I am, I'm Lynda Cromar. I have been on the internet and in the social media space for 6 years. And I love to teach and coach and help you with your branding with our products and my coaching. So that's what I have to share with you today. And I will be back again tomorrow. You can connect with me in Twitter at the same handle, Lynda Cromar, and you can also connect with me over in Facebook, Lynda Cromar with the number 1 behind it. And I look forward to talking to you further. If you have any questions, make sure that you, thanks a lot. You are welcome, and I am glad you got value from it. That's the major, most important thing that I'm doing here. And I am going to be back tomorrow. I haven't decided what the content will be, but I will give you value. I promise you that. And let's talk tomorrow. Bye for now.